Did the Cincinnati Bengals just tell the NFL to come get him? Well, Tee Higgins told reporters that the Bengals was never close on reaching a long-term agreement this offseason. Now, Tee Higgins is a former second-round pick number 33 overall in the 2020 NFL Draft out of Clemson. Higgins is also 6'4", 219-pound wide receiver. Now, Detroit showed against the Kansas City Chiefs this past Thursday that they got an issue at wide receiver. Now, could it work internally? Possibility. But it also kind of is like, hey, do we have to look at outside help? So this is why I'm bringing up this. Now, will it happen? Possibly not. But there's scenarios of, hey, this guy's on the last year of his contract. Brad Holmes loves last year of a contract type guys. Could this be an upgrade? Absolutely. So it makes sense from this aspect. Now, if Tee Higgins and Detroit do strike an agreement of a long-term deal, and let's just say out of hypothetical that Jameson Williams doesn't pan out. Well, Detroit at least would have two wide receivers on their roster because obviously we will be paying Amon-Ra St. Brown, and obviously we would give the contract extension to Tee Higgins that he's looking for. Obviously, we'll work around 3-year deal or somewhere around there because Tee Higgins is 24 years old, so you got a lot of room for him. I mean, he could sign a 6-year deal basically. Now, granted, he won't because it's probably illegal to sign him for 6 years, but but that would at least take him to the age of 30. But Tee Higgins to Detroit makes a whole lot of sense. It's a perfect fit for the Detroit Lions. Again, if Jameson Williams does not pan out, you still got Amon-Ra St. Brown, who will be getting paid this offseason, coming up after this season. And then you got Tee Higgins, who will be getting paid as well. So you got two dogs at wide receiver. And, if Jameson doesn't pan out, okay, well, when his contract is up, you just let him walk. But if he does pan out, well, now you got a three-headed monster, and who are you going to guard? Plus, by that time, Sam Laporta will be, possibly a lot better than what he is, say, in his rookie season, obviously, because, he has actual off seasons and time to develop. So, naturally, he's going to be better. So, it just completely opens up the roster so that the reason why I'm making up of this video is the trade proposal will be Tee Higgins for Marvin Jones Jr. Now, wait a second. I'm Bengal fans, just wait a second. You will also get a 3rd-round pick and a 5th-round pick. Now, to sweeten up the deal, you might get a 4th-round pick, maybe in 2025 or 2026, somewhere in that ballpark, just to kind of sweeten up the deal. Obviously, being a former 2nd-round pick with, well, here's his career stats for the Cincinnati Bengals: 215 receptions, 327 targets, 3,028 yards, 19 touchdowns, 2 fumbles, and 2 fumbles lost. That's a clear-cut 2nd-round pick type of player, if not a mid to late 1st rounder. So to get a 3rd, a future 4th, and a 5th round, and the 3rd and 5th round being in this coming up season, plus a 4th rounder, you can really open up some different avenues for you to maybe get another receiver, maybe get 2 receivers, because you probably might not let Marvin Jones come back for a 2nd year there. But he could at least finish his contract with the Cincinnati Bengals where he started from. So, maybe it's a farewell tour. Hey, he plays half a season with Detroit, half a season with the Bengals, and he hangs up his cleats. Because, after that, what was that? 2 for 6 for 8 yards and a fumble loss performance against the defending champs. It might be time for Marvin to hang it up. But it at least gives the Cincinnati Bengals a receiver for right now to hey, mentor some of these other guys at least. Will it be a man down? Yeah, but I mean, you got Tyler Boyd over there. You got different guys, and that could also be another guy that Detroit possibly looks at is the Tyler Boyd. But that might be a video for maybe tomorrow or something. But I mean, Detroit showed that we have a weakness at the wide receiver position. His first, Marvin Jones was a former Bengal, and then they were in the same position. He was in the same position as Tee Higgins is in right now. Contract extension, money. So here comes Detroit. We got some money right now. We had some money back in 2016 in that offseason, heading into that 2016 season where, Calvin Johnson retired early. We replaced Calvin with Marvin Jones. So we need an outside threat. What better than to go get Tee Higgins? And it makes perfect sense. The last time we got a Bengal straight off of Cincinnati, he put up almost 1,000 yards. So, I mean, could Tee Higgins do the same thing for Detroit if we go that route? Possible. So, I think Tee Higgins is a guy that Brad Holmes needs to go get. Because Tee Higgins is a go-getter. Yeah, he has 2 fumbles and he lost both of them. But that was in his first 2 years. Last year, he had 0 fumbles. And he had 1,000 yards. And he had 108 targets. And he had 79 catches out of those. So, I mean, overall, for a number 2 wide receiver, he's a perfect fit for Detroit. So, I ask you the question in the chat. Lion fans, would you trade Marvin Jones Jr., a 3rd-round pick and a 5th-round pick this coming up draft? The draft will be held in Detroit. And then maybe possibly to sweeten up the deal, a future 4th, either 2025, 2026, for Tee Higgins. I ask you in the chat. Let me know. And with that being said, y'all already know what to do. We are trying to grow this community. And, we are trying to build a great audience. And with that being said, I will see you in tomorrow's video because grit don't quit. One pride, baby. Peace. Man, it feels good to be 1-0.